Okay, we are live. Hi, welcome to the Easy Path Project live stream. I'm Michael. I'll be your host tonight. Tonight, we are following up on what we talked about last night, which was what are the simple steps you can start implementing right now that will significantly improve your life? So, what we'll be talking about is things such as cultural programming has trained you to seek validation instead of commanding respect. Your physical presence directly communicates your inner confidence level to women, and you'll attract women through charisma, competence, and character rather than tricks and pickup lines. Um, yeah, the idea here is transform your inner game for masculine confidence and authentic attraction. Part 2. Yeah, so last night, what I always try to do is if I go a little bit into the woo area or a little bit into the, you know, deeper into your head space, I like to pull it back a little bit and allow you to hear some super simple ways that you can apply these things. Practical application. Um, a lot of this stuff is basically just a repetition of you practicing things that you need to practice or working on things that will transform you from being, I assume that if you're watching this that you don't have the best luck in the world with girls. And so I have a feeling that it's not because you're actually not good with girls. It's that you probably got things that aren't necessarily up to speed yet, that are the kind of things that a girl wants in a guy. And so once you work on these things to become the guy that a girl wants, then um, naturally, as you walk through life and, as you project your, like your presence, like, your being into the world, like people are going to respond to that. And, if there's women that, like what you're showing, they're going to be attracted to you. I mean, this isn't a crazy out there stuff, it's like if you want to get a high quality girl, you need to be a high quality guy, right? You need to be the kind of guy that she wants. And so, like I said, tonight, we're not doing any deep dive into your head. We're just talking about simple things that you can do and easy. Like I said, this is the Easy Path Project. We do things the easy way. We have no time to do things the hard way. So the first thing we're going to talk about is prioritize holistic well-being. Maintain a healthy lifestyle, including a nutritious diet, regular exercise, and limited alcohol consumption. This forms a foundational basis for inner confidence and vitality as your mind naturally produces the uppers and downers you need. That actually made me smile when I wrote that this morning. But the idea is that the possibility that you might need to be self-medicating with drugs or alcohol or whatever, um, is that you might not necessarily feel good about yourself. And so the idea is that, get your body healthy, eat good food, exercise, move, stretch, lift some heavy stuff every now and then, and cut back on the alcohol and drugs. And like I said, I'm not a teetotaler or anything. I'm a big fan of alcohol and drugs, just like everybody, right? But if they're if you're not using them appropriately or whatever in the right time or whatever, you're using them as a crutch to like help you deal with other stuff, then that is a problem. And so once you start to sort out the issues, the things that have been holding you back in the past, you'll find that you just naturally feel good, that you don't need to get high or on to drink or drunk or whatever to have a good time. Like you'll just have a good time, period. And like I said, if you're attracting like cool people into your life, you're just gonna have fun, period. So yeah, it all works out great once you start with the very basic of getting your body healthy. The next thing we're going to talk about is cultivate a powerful and clear voice. Practice vocal exercises to develop a strong, deep masculine voice, as this unconsciously signals power, maturity, and sexual potency to women. Speak out boldly and clearly, as confident people do. There's a lot of stuff on YouTube here where you can learn these very simple things. Like I said, some things that I would definitely look into um, following on YouTube would be things like cultivating a powerful and clear voice. Find out what it takes to speak from your chest, where it resonates. Don't speak through your nose where it's all whiny and shit. Because chicks don't dig that, right? They like a guy who kind of rumbles. Take my word for this, right? Anyway, so you can watch videos on this on YouTube and learn how to cultivate this powerful voice. Also, while you're at it, watch videos on body language. And we'll discuss that in a moment here. But also, learn how to develop your eye contact. Yeah, there's a whole bunch of things here on YouTube. There's somebody teaching things and that can help you, and you can apply them today, and your life will get better shortly thereafter. Once again, when I first started this Easy Path Project live stream, I started telling you very near the beginning that this stuff isn't a joke, and it's not like have some luck with it, and maybe it'll work out with you. No, like I'm saying specifically, read my lips. If you do these things I'm talking about, your life will get better. And when you start, having a better life, you'll feel better. And then it'll just spiral, hopefully out of control, but not quite, like stop just before it gets nuts. But yeah, let's work on getting close, right? Anyway, so the next thing I would suggest is foster a sense of humor and lightheartedness. Develop your sense of humor and ability to laugh at yourself and life's challenges. This is crucial for seeing reality clearly and maintaining a balanced perspective. Also, women enjoy being around pleasant men. They always talk about the sense of humor as being so important to women. So if you can keep things light and maybe crack a joke every now and then, that's going to work out really well for you. Plus, um, just like everything we talk about here, it's not just dating. If you can be kind of, you can be serious and be lighthearted, not lighthearted. You can be not serious, right? What was that? Batman, why so serious? It's like, just let go of that stuff. There's plenty of crap that people are dealing with just in general, like on a daily basis. And if you're kind of lighthearted and pleasant and fun to be around, maybe you can crack a joke or whatever, then people will like having you around. You'll be a fun guy to have in the group. And so, also that's, you work in a sense like the support system for people, like if things are really down for them or whatever, then if you're the kind of guy who's like supportive and, oh, it's not the end of the world or whatever here, let's look at the positive side of this, or let's look at the ways that we can move this to the positive side, then, you're going to be a popular fellow. Okay, address underlying symbolic impotence. And I wrote this one to make sure that I would stumble all over it. So forgive me if I stumble all over it. Anyway, if you experience feelings of powerlessness in life, for example, in your career or your social status, recognize this likely affects your confidence. Focus on gaining control over controllable aspects of your life to boost overall presence and effectiveness. The idea here is that, if you feel emasculated or whatever in your job or in your social or lack of social, that probably will, hit your confidence, and you probably have confidence issues in the first place if you're feeling these things. So the idea is that at some point, you're going to have to take control of the situation, and I don't know necessarily what that means to take care of that situation, but that is what a confident man, who has self-worth and self-confidence would do. He would take care of the situation. He would put himself in a better situation. And that's what you need to do too. And if you're feeling like that you need to stick around in a situation that makes you feel bad about yourself or feel less than you can be, then you need to change that. Okay, and this is where I've really found like things to make a huge difference in my life. Develop deep observational skills. Sharpen your ability to observe people closely, understanding nonverbal cues and underlying motivations. This reading of human nature helps you connect more genuinely with other people and understand their problem matrix. Um, like I said, I mean, I'm what they would consider like a natural. Like I get along well with women. Almost the majority of my friends are women. Almost, not quite. But I have a pretty even split. And so one of the things that I started understanding about women pretty early on is that, if you pay attention, like if you watch what they're, how they're acting, how they're conducting themselves, what they're looking at, what their facial expressions are, if she looks away or something, how she looks away, these kind of things. And it also works in business or with your friends or with your teachers or whatever, I mean, it's not like a crazy concept here to watch people. And when you do that, this reading of human nature helps you connect more genuinely with others and understand their problem matrix. Well, so the idea here is that, if you're paying attention, then you're sort of having, it's like there's the context and then there's the subtext, right? And so you're understanding the situation um, on different levels. And so if you're sort of intuiting what the other person is feeling or whatever, it helps you to empathize. It helps you to understand their situation or where they're coming from, and it allows you to position yourself to help them if that's what the case calls for. But the idea is that you need to watch people and get an understanding of their body language, their facial expressions. Also, listen to their voice and listen to what they say. I mean, this all comes together in like a big giant ball, right? But it's all little bitty pieces, and this is a really good one to start with after you do the body. Get your body in shape, then start developing deep observational skills. In fact, watch deep observational skills videos while you're at the gym working out or listening to them or whatever. Anyway, so are you getting any value from this video? Like, is any of this stuff making sense? I mean, do you understand how simple it can be? I mean, none of this has to be difficult at all. It could be just take little baby steps, start learning this stuff, start applying this stuff, and watch your life get better. There's nothing difficult about this at all. You just got to stick to it. Anyway, that being said, if you do enjoy this, please give me a like, give the video a like. Also, leave a comment. People are shy, like they lurk, but they don't share. I definitely want to chat. Anyway, and if you like these live streams and you want to take part, um, subscribe to the channel and click the notification bell so that YouTube will tell you whenever we go live. Like I mentioned, we've established this around 7:30 live stream schedule. But over the next coming weeks, I'm going to start adding little pop-in live streams, like because I'm constantly finding new things that I want to talk about that are not going to be, 30 minutes long or whatever for a evening live stream, but we can definitely chat about them, a 5-minute or 10-minute live stream. Anyway, so if that sounds good to you, click the subscribe and ding the bell, right? Okay, so let's get on with this. The next thing we're going to be talking about is challenge cultural hypnosis and strive for individuality. Actively question and overcome societal brainwashing and cultural hypnosis that dictates how you should think, feel, or behave, especially concerning relationships. Strive to create your own authentic identity and life, independent of such external impositions and media imitations. The first time I did this, and this is something we'll talk about at some point on White Night Wednesday, I promise. But women, like the advertising industry for products for women, really just beats the hell out of their self-esteem. I mean, on so many different levels. They have to, be pretty and act pretty, and their hair has to be a certain way, and they have to have a certain kind of makeup, and if they don't look this way, then their friends are going to laugh at them. And women are social creatures, right? Like much more so than men. And so if they don't fit in, they're out. And if they're out, that does not work well for women. And so, and all those things, they add up to making a woman crazy about things. It's just like TikTok. Good God. Like, there's mass insanity because of TikTok. Anyway, the point I'm making here is for you to question why you think things that you think. You know, was it because like society told you got to think that, or did they somehow like culturally, indoctrinate you or hypnotize you into believing these things, um, that you don't necessarily mm, believe in? I mean, that's one of the ideas behind authenticity, right? It's like finding what really means to you, and then find what find what is meaningful to you, and then really like accentuate that part of you, like be authentic, be forthright, be honest. And like I said, you don't have to worry about what other people think. um I mean, I can yeah, you just don't have to think about how people might think about you or how they might feel about you. The secret is that most people think about themselves, and if they think about you at all, it's just very fleeting or whatever, you know. So don't get all wound up worrying about what other people think about you ever. Who cares? I mean, if nothing else, they're just a NPC in your simulation, right? If somebody doesn't like you, that's just feedback from the universe that they're not your kind of person, and that you need to move on, and they need to move on too. So yeah, don't get bent out of shape over somebody uh, who tells you you got to be a certain way or you got to think a certain thing. Like I said, there's been about 500 or 600 years now of absolute baloney that humans believe. So, well, let's work on that stuff. Let's just ditch all this ridiculous little stuff, um, and get on down the road. Okay. Overcome neediness and external approval seeking. Act with self-respect and never act desperately or seek a woman's approval. A confident man has nothing to prove and isn't paralyzed by rejection. Like I said, I mean, who cares? I mean, if you act like a man, and you be the man that you want to be, and you don't sit there and hope, that if you do something, you'll get somebody's approval or maybe some affection or whatever. Like that's not manly, right? It's kind of weak. And like I said, if you want a girl to use the ick word for you, be weak around her. And if you've had that happen, I mean, learn from it. Like I said, you don't have to internalize it. Okay, I can I will never tell you, but I could tell you some things that I've done in the past that were absolutely just the worst. I mean, so embarrassing. Like I said, I won't even share them. But the idea is that, yes, I recognize that they occurred, but I learned, hey, don't do this ever again. Like, because oh good God, I will share one thing. There was this girl that I used to see, or woman that I used to see when I did go out to bars and to live music and stuff. And like I said, I'm always just trying stuff like, not necessarily pickup lines, but just little things to talk about or whatever. Anyway, and I made the mistake of saying something like that I was a feminist or that I agreed with feminism or whatever. And this girl, well, first of all, she never talked to me again. But um, so I mean, guys have ridiculous stuff. I didn't care about what she thought about me or whatever. I just thought, okay, well, I know now. Uh, first of all, don't pretend to be somebody else. Don't try to say stuff that you think that some chick might dig because you think she might want to hear it because first of all, she might be into you in the first place if she's talking to you. And so you can only talk yourself out of it. And if you're pretending to be something, then to get her approval or whatever, she's gonna dislike that. And like I said, so that was my one experience, like my my most traumatic experience with the ick. Like the girl just was disgusted by me simply by me saying I was a feminine, or uh, I agreed, or well, or I don't even remember. This was a while ago, but it was funny. Anyway, like I said, but who cares? You know, I, I didn't get anything out of that with her, and I moved on down the road. But I'm still talking about it now. So, but at least I got a funny story out of it. But never tell chicks that you're a feminist or whatever. I mean, feminists have a really bad reputation. Male feminists, yeah, that's you know, yeah, whatever. Like I said, I've actually started doing the research for a live stream on Neediness and approval seeking, and so look forward to that in the next couple weeks here or so. Okay, understand female psychology and dynamics. Gain insight into women's emotional and intuitive nature, their attraction to qualities beyond physical appearance, and their deep desire for security and a capable leader and a partner. Be aware that female attraction can be fluid and influenced by perception. Okay, well, there's a couple things to unpack here. The first thing is that women. If you heard my video the other night, I did two videos actually on the female brain. It's the book by Dr. Luann Brizendine. The idea is that a woman's brain is like completely influenced by her hormones, and so on top of that, women are geared for raising children and nurturing and caring and whatever, and so there's a whole bunch of components of a female that men don't have, and so we don't recognize them. So the idea, is learn what these emotional and intuitive natures are, the things that they, how you make them feel. I mean, it's like, you know, So, like I said, on one hand, you don't worry about how you look or whatever, but on the other hand, remember that, women are social creatures, and if a girl brings around a guy who's kind of a stumble bum or whatever, like she's gonna drop, like in the estimation or whatever of her social group, and so it's not gonna help you. Like I said, um, don't be looksist or whatever, but I mean, just like men are, like there's the YouTube channel Ho Math. He talks about this all the time. That below like a 7 for men or whatever are not people, right? Like that for whatever reason, like all women, are aiming for 7s or above, and if you're below a 7, you're just not going to get in on the game. That's not true, but I mean, it's a good point. And the same thing for us. We we say, okay, we won't take less than a certain level, that we want a certain girl that we find attractive. I've had several conversations with buddies about that, about how, if a girl has, certain attributes or whatever, I'll rank her more highly than not, just because she has these qualities that I like. And it's the same thing for women, but you have to understand, they are the nurturers of children. Their function is to care for children and to raise them and stuff. And so they need security, and they need a guy that can be there and take charge of a situation if they need to, and she can count on him. I mean, like, all of these things matter just as much as good looks and stuff, but or or being healthy or fit, or but the idea there is that, if you are fit, that shows that that you can handle your you can control your diet. You can go to the gym on a regular basis and get your body in shape. I mean, that's the kind of stuff that they look for when they're evaluating a man, that he's going to put a baby inside them. And the idea that female attraction can be fluid and influenced by perception. So a girl might think that let's just say, like you're a 5 guy or whatever, like, but your other characteristics, the other good things about you, can actually raise you in her eyes. So if you've got a good sense of humor, if you can take charge of a situation, or if you are confident, or resilient, or any of these items I talk about in the 9 pillars of inner game, those things will alter the way that she looks at you, and for the better. And so, yeah, understand how a woman's brain works. Okay, be discerning and have standards in relationships. Don't just accept any relationship. Instead, evaluate women's suitability for you and trust your instincts to connect with those who are genuinely aligned with your values. When I talked about this the other night in the in the deep dive in the subjective reality, that was what I was talking about. It's like, okay, well, you're setting all the parameters for this game. So, if you have the opportunity to get, like, to establish, like, this is the kind of woman that I want, and this is the kind of relationship that I want, and this is the kind of future that I want, for instance. And so you make up your mind that that's what you're going to hold out for. And if a girl comes along that, like, say there's 2 or 3 things that, are really important to you, but, like, say she only has 2 of them, but not the third, it's like, are you gonna settle for that? I mean, you know, and the idea of settling, really a bad idea, like I said, because, if you're not the right person for somebody, or she's not the right person for you, I mean, the seeds have already been planted for things to fall apart in the future. So instead of just, having a scarcity mindset and thinking, okay, well, I'll never have some other girl come along, this girl is the best I can do. Yeah, don't do that. Instead, find a girl that is right for you. Find a girl that you are right for. I mean, that also will solve a lot of aches in the future. And trust your instincts, you know. Um, Trust reality, you know. Have a growth mindset, have an abundance mindset. Hope that um, as you go throughout your day, the universe will see fit to put beautiful women in your path, or appropriate women, the ones that you want in your life. Or like I said, I go to the gym twice a day anyway, and today my gym crush was on the machine right next to me for like a long time. And I was like super happy. Like, I'm not going to do anything, but you know like, the universe brought my gym crush and put her like in a place where I could sneak a peek every once in a while. So that was fun. So like I said, just expect the universe to, it is like, if this is a simulation, and if you are determining what your reality is, it's like, well, if you put in your order for this perfect woman, like, the universe has to kind of cook it up in the kitchen or whatever, but it is forthcoming, right? So don't settle, and don't expect her to settle. Make yourself the best possible. Make yourself the best possible version of yourself, and hold out for the best possible girl for you. Okay. Radiate masculine sexual confidence. Believe in and accept your powerful sexual masculinity in a non-egotistical way. Focus on mutual enjoyment and intimacy in sexual encounters rather than performance. Trust your deeper self to make this confidence accessible. Now, this is a little bit of an advanced thing, because we're sitting here talking about, how to get your body in shape so you can feel good, so you can even get out and about. And so then by the end of this 10-slide presentation, I'm talking about, you know, uh, your sexual performance and prowess. But the idea here, and the reason that I included it, is like, you know, project like a manly, masculine presence, you know, like, push a girl's buttons, you know, uh, make her feel you, like, as a man, just in general, like, you know, proximity and body language and the way you conduct yourself, and all of these things can really project like your sexual confidence. Like, a chick knows when when a guy kind of knows his way around a woman or whatever. Like, she's looking for it, right? Hopefully, you can allow yourself to man up and make that confidence in being that guy um, a reality. Anyway, like I said, this was a little bit ahead of things, but I just wanted to make sure that we discussed the idea of like projecting confidence in general, but specifically in this instance, sexually. Yeah, like I said, I also noted in here, you know, think about mutual enjoyment and intimacy. It's not all about you. It's not all about her either, right? It's 50-50. It's like, you can get yours, but help her get hers too, right? Have a good time, make each other have a good experience. Anyway, so what do you think? Uh, do you find any of this stuff that I've discussed tonight like difficult to wrap your head around, or maybe to even implement? And why do you think that? Anyway, please leave a comment. Let me know. We can get a discussion going about this stuff, and I'll find out what your um, what your opinion is and where you're coming from. And also, if you know anybody that needs to hear a message like this or whatever, definitely share the link to this video and invite them to join the live streams so that we can get some conversation going. Okay, so let's wrap this up. So if you start implementing the stuff that I'm talking about every night, you'll start to feel comfortable in your own skin and you'll stop seeking approval from others. Like I said, thank goodness that I've never had to worry about that. Like I don't seek the approval from others. I try to fit in. I try to make people feel good. You know, but I don't I don't live to find what it is that makes other people like me or whatever, and then do more of that. Or yeah, no, just get that out of your head. From now on, the idea is to feel comfortable in your own skin, and that other people will either approve of you or not. But if they don't, well, see ya. And if they do, well, cultivate that. Anyway, like I said, all this is super easy, super fun. Like I said, if you've had a situation in your life or a life where you felt kind of insufficient or um, that life isn't what you want out of it or hasn't been so far, like the opportunity is there. And I'm talking about it every single night, every weeknight. In fact, we'll talk about that the next slide. So I think I'll jump to that. Yeah, so live streams Monday through Friday around 7:30 p.m. Central, and I also I've made a playlist so you can actually watch the replays live in the live stream play, or excuse me, you can watch the replays of the live streams in the playlist. It's been a long day. I just went to the pool. I'm kind of beat, and nobody wanted to say hi tonight, so it's just another night of me talking to a camera. Anyway, but like I said, thanks for hanging out. Hopefully you got something out of this, and if so, let me know in the comments. With that being said, have a great night. We'll be back tomorrow night for White Night Wednesday. Take it easy.